Hey guys, Greg here, Bone Tactical. Another tactical brief for you guys. And today the tactical brief is on carry of your knife and whether you should carry your knife strong side or strong hand dominant or weak side or weak hand dominant. I happen to be right-handed, so my right hand is my dominant hand. I am ambidextrous, so it's a little bit different for me since I can use both hands equally, and I was born left eye dominant, but grew up hunting and shooting from the time I was very, very young. So I just always learned how to shoot with my right hand, but when I started training ambidextrous, I picked up, I suppose, fairly easily being able to use both, since I am naturally left eye dominant, but I use my right eye for most shooting sports and things of that nature. We are going to discuss the importance today of carrying a knife as a backup weapon. And there's a big myth in the tactical community that your backup knife or your knife as a secondary or tertiary weapon needs to be on your weak side. It's just a myth. It's just a myth. And I get a lot of people commenting on my kit pictures and stuff like that, that my knife is set up for right hand, and so is my pistol, whether it's here or magazines, all this kind of stuff. So magazines, can I access them with my left hand? Yeah. So we are going to discuss in detail generally whether your stuff should be weak hand or strong hand. If you're right-handed, when I say strong hand, I'm referring to your right hand. If you're left-handed, when I say weak hand, I'm referring to your left hand. So that's what we're talking about when we discuss weak side or strong side. We are asking today the question of, the main question here is, am I more likely to lose use of my dominant hand in a fight, or am I more likely to run out of ammo or to lose use of my dominant hand in a firefight, let's say, because this is what we're talking about, carrying for use in a fight, all right, in use in a combat scenario, self-defense, whatever you want to call it. Am I more likely to lose the use of my dominant hand, or am I more likely to run out of ammo? And the obvious response is that I'm more likely, even if it's only slightly more likely, depending on the situation, I am more likely, especially being trained, to run out of ammo than I am likely to lose the use of my dominant hand, which means that it's more likely that I'm going to be using that same dominant hand to access that knife than I'm going to be using, even though it's ambidextrous, which leads us to the point, do you train with both hands? Do you train ambidextrous? Okay. If you don't train ambidextrous, then why are you even considering mounting something on your weak side of your body? If you don't train weak side, then why are you even considering? There's no reason to consider it. But the best option, okay, that's the third final point here, is that the best option is always ambidextrous, all right, to be able to access, again, from both sides. I've got this here on my plate carrier. It is obviously on the right side of my plate carrier, but I can access it with either hand. So it's fully ambidextrous. So it doesn't even matter whether I carry weak side or strong side. My magazines, how am I using my magazines? Well, I'm going to have my pistol in my dominant hand, and I'm going to be accessing my magazines, obviously, with my weak hand. All right, this is pretty cool. This just can pull completely off, and then those will be free. Plus, I've got these down here. There's people that say, well, what if if you damage this hand or that hand or the other, you always need to have something on the other side of your body. Well, I don't agree with that. I don't necessarily agree with that. If I get my right arm blown off or shot in the right hand or whatever reasoning, these people that are saying, always have a weak side option. Do you guys go and train consistently with your weak side? I could guarantee you don't. So there's a lot of misnomers out there, and I think one of the biggest ones is where to carry your backup blade, and always carry it on your weak side. I don't believe that. I believe if there is a perfect location to carry your backup knife, it's as close to the center line of the body as possible. So in this area right here, okay? The further down, the worse it gets towards the belt, but the belt's okay too. The further lower it gets, if you go down to the pants leg or around the ankle, that's probably the worst that you can carry. Neck knife or here on the plate carrier are your best options for a backup knife. Center line of the body, because it's not strong side or weak side, or at least a little bit removed of the center line, far enough to where you can access it with that weak side hand. So this pretty much answers in depth the question of whether you need to carry weak side or strong side with your backup knife, and whether it's true that you should always have your backup knife on your weak side. I'll go ahead and say that it's not true, that it's a myth, and that I never carry. I can't think of a certain, okay, I won't say never, but I'll 90% of the time carry on a neutral or ambidextrous location. If not, this would be considered a strong side carry, even though it is an ambidextrous location. So I'm very heavily favoring my strong side carry of multiple weapons, even if it's a tertiary weapon, because the realistic possibility of me losing the ability to use my strong side of my body, my right hand, my strong hand, is very slim chance of that happening. And then if it does happen, it's going to be a bad situation. So I'm not planning to lose that right hand. I've had extensive damage done to my hands. I don't know if you can see this little cut here on my hand. You can possibly see that there's a pretty bad cut here on my hand. I have lost a huge chunk of this hand right here. With this hand, I've lost pretty much this entire chunk of this hand right here, okay? And the tip of this finger, and I almost lost this finger here. So we're talking about, massive scar tissue, the entire half of this, the entire tip of this finger, the entire quarter bottom of this palm, and then about an eighth of this palm, that I have lost what we would consider to be very, very significant injuries. And in those cases, I was still able to use the hands that were damaged. Was blood everywhere? Yeah. Was it tough? Was it a crappy situation to be in? Yeah. Did I have to get medical attention very quickly? Yeah, but I still in those situations didn't switch over. Multiple situations that you can see there. That's 3. There's another situation there. There's 4 different situations where I've had hand injuries to both my weak and strong hand that I didn't consider to be sufficient enough to change my method of carry to start carrying something that's only accessible with my weak hand, other than magazines, by the way, because you can see right now I have 2 magazines that are very, very weak side dominant, and then the rest of my magazines, 5 magazines, are in my center line, which are available to either hand. But I'm 99% of the time going to be changing magazines, using my left hand, my weak hand, to do so. So that's just a consideration. And if I'm having to, if my strong hand goes out, that means that I'm going to be using my weak hand to shoot if I have ammo left. But that doesn't mean that that means my strong hand's out, so I'm not going to be able to use my strong hand for mag changes. So what do I need mags on the right side for? Okay, so it's just a little bit of common sense here, guys. Carry ambidextrous when you can, but don't worry about having a backup weapon that's only accessible from your weak side, because there's so much more that's important than that comes. Training is the number one that's way more important. And then from there, we've got training that's more important, and we've got, concealment and the element of surprise and being able to carry what you do have concealed, and then gray man theory, and so much more that's so much more important than where you're carrying your stuff on your body, as long as it's accessible. And as long as you're training with it and you know how to use it, then that's what you need to be way more worried about than being that guy saying always carry something on your weak side as a backup just in case, or always carry your backup knife weak side. Be very wary of people that say always anything. If you like this tactical brief series, let me know. Comment below and let me know you want to see more tactical briefs. If you have a suggestion for the tactical brief series, let me know. I am always willing to do more videos for you guys based off of customer suggestions. I'm doing these videos for you guys. If you don't like the tactical brief series, please let me know, because I'll stop making these videos. I've got no problem. I'll do other videos. I'm doing these videos for you guys, and if you don't like them, I'm not going to make them. There's no reason. I don't give these tactical briefs for myself. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for watching. Please show me your support through your feedback. Thanks again. Bono.